Hello, everyone. I am Ramona Hallman of the ColorBold Business Association, and welcome to our Entrepreneurs of Color Spotlight. This is where we highlight an entrepreneur's business journey. Y'all know we do this every first and third Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Y'all, the EoC is brought to you by the partnership and shared mission of the Appleton Public Library, the ColorBold Business Association, and UW-Madison Division of Extension out of Gaming and Winnebago County. And y'all, we are able to do this work because of our great sponsors. And we are sponsored by the Hmong, Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce, as well as Wisconsin United Coalition of Mutual Assistance Association. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome. Y'all, today we have a wonderful published author. Yes, I said it. Published author is on our spotlight today. But before I bring her on, let me tell you a little bit about her. Y'all, Chia Gounza is a Hmong American young adult historical fiction author and teacher. Born in Laos in the midst of a civil war after the Vietnam War. She spent her childhood life living in fear, y'all. And education was inaccessible. But her parents made a decision that changed her life. She came to America and started her education as a teenager. Y'all, education and opportunity made her dreams possible. She has been teaching middle school students for over 22 years and recently published her debut novel, The Illiterate Daughter. Y'all, help me welcome Chia Gounza. Hey, Sia.
Hey, thank you so much for the amazing introduction.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you. We're so excited to have you here. Like it is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. I'm so
Oh,
excited.
thank you. I'm so excited to be here tonight.
Yes. And so, everyone, as we get ready to get started, please feel free if you have questions, encouragement, things that you want to shout out, please definitely post them in the comments and we will get you your answers. Okay. So, see you. I'm ready to hop in because we want to know more about the great work and the things that you're doing here. So, can you tell us more about your book?
Yes. So again, my book is called The Illiterate Daughter, and it is the very first book of the Young Guardian series. And it's about this 13-year-old girl and her family's struggles in the aftermath of the secret war and the Vietnam War in Laos. And also, it is about their journey to safety in Thailand. And in my culture, girls were looked down upon, and women were valued mainly as wives. And so, in this book, this little girl, she is imperfect and she's useless, but she tries everything in her power to help her family, to bring her family to safety, and she wants to be her family's hero, and she wants to prove that a girl is very capable. I mean, a daughter is as capable as a son. I mean, just that what she's trying to do. And so that's pretty much what, I mean, I don't want to tell you everything, but well, that's just like the main idea.
Okay. I really love that. And yes, like you said, you can't give it all away
Right.
because I mean, if we want to know more, we got to be able to
Yeah,
get
yes.
into your novel and read it. So, what motivated you? It sounds so interesting, and I cannot wait to read it. So, what motivated you to start writing?
There were a few reasons why I started writing this book. The first one being my mother-in-law. She lived with my family, and living under one roof, she told me a lot of stories. especially stories about the struggles that her family went through during the Vietnam War and also in the aftermath. And that got me interested and wanting to know more. And so that's when I started to talk to my own mother about our journey to
Mm.
America and learn more about my history. And the other reason was my students. When I started teaching 20 years ago, my students back then didn't know why Hmong people came to America. They asked me if I was Chinese. And so
Wow.
I
Okay.
decided that, hey, you know what, as a teacher, it's my duty to educate them and to tell them about Hmong people and why Hmong people came to America. And that got me, excited and, got me started on writing the book. Another reason was, well, in my culture, we did not have a written language until 1950. And so my parents did not write stories down, and we didn't know
Mm.
anything about our past. And so I decided that now is our chance to do it and to write
Yes.
stories for our children and for the future generations. Now that we have education and we can write. And so, I mean, all of these ideas just got me into you know, urged me into writing this story. And I know that language barrier was my obstacle. But
Okay.
because I really want to write a story for my students to educate them about Hmong people and to learn more about Hmong people, and because I feel like I need to write history down for my children. And even if I don't get it to publish and share with the world, maybe I can write it down for my own children and my grandchildren. And
Yes.
so that got me into it.
I love it because I mean, when you talk about it, I can feel your passion. I know y'all can see your passion as well because it is something about being moved to do it. And
Yes,
sometimes it's like we look for others, like who's gonna do this? And it's like, nope,
right.
you're the one chosen to do it. And so I love it that you were able to capture the stories. And I know in a lot of cultures in that space, stories have been more passed down verbally, and now
Yes,
being able to capture it is something powerful so that it's not lost. So
yes,
that's amazing.
it
That is
is.
really amazing.
Yes.
So as we talk about writing a book, okay, so it's people that's out there that is like maybe thinking about it, or like you have the passion in and wanting to be able to get some things down. So what should a person take into consideration when thinking about writing a book?
So I want to say that writing a book takes time. And well, it depends on the writer and their writing skills. But for most people, writing takes time. But people have to be patient and willing
Mm.
to, to do it, no matter how difficult it is. And also, I also want to let people know that if they want to publish traditionally, it's gonna take time to do it. And for me, it took me about 10 years to write this book because again, due to
Wow.
language barrier, and also I was looking for a publisher, like those big publishing company, to publish my book. That's why it
Yes.
took me so long. So just be patient, and if you have a desire to do it, just willing to take some times and pursue your dreams. And I know that I'm not the only person who actually took me so long to publish my book. Recently, I read an article published by NPR
Mm-hmm.
about this new author, and she's a librarian, and which means she reads a lot of books, and it took her 15 years to publish her book. And so
Wow.
just know that If you want to write a book, great, but expect it to take times.
It's so interesting you say that because I was so excited to interview you because I myself am like, okay, I want to try to write a book, and it's kind of like in the back of my mind. And then
Mhm.
I'm like, sometimes with how things are with society, it's like you want to be able to push something out fast, right? Because it's just like,
Mhm.
oh, I need to get it out fast, but it's like that part of really being patient with yourself.
Yes,
And like you
yes,
said, it was so many things. And so like you had said with the publisher, right?
yes,
So first is the writing. So let's
yes,
go back that way. So first is
yes.
the writing, and like, how is that journey of writing so much? Like, are you I do the pen to paper? Did you do the
Oh,
typing? Like, how, talk to us about a little
sure.
bit, give us a sneak peek behind the scene of how the writing process is.
Yes. So with technology, it's easier to write. You can always make correction, and it's just better to write.
Okay.
So I don't do handwriting because my handwriting is horrible. So I typed, and
Okay.
because I didn't know a lot about writing and I did not have creative writing skills and techniques, and I did not learn writing skills in college. It was really hard, and it took me longer
Mm,
to do it, and that's probably why it took me so long.
okay.
Um,
And
yeah,
okay. Alrighty. And then the publisher side is that part of finding the right person going through that process, right?
yes.
To so you just don't jump in just
I
crazy
mean,
with something that you're not
yeah.
really connected to. Like, talk to us a little bit about the publisher side.
Sure. So, publisher side, if you want to self-publish, you can do that too.
Okay.
Nowadays, a lot of authors are doing are publishing books, doing self-publishing books. But again, if you are trying to publish traditionally, and it will take a lot of time, and you have to look for an agent to represent you, because nowadays publisher and editors, they don't take manuscripts that are not polished, and so
Mm,
you have to go through an agent to make sure that your manuscript it's good, it's really good before it gets to the editor and publisher. So you have to look for an agent, and it's very hard
mm.
to please agents nowadays because they only want manuscripts or books that they think will sell,
Oh,
and they have a lot of expectations in a manuscript. So um, it's very important to follow editors and agents so that you know what they want, so that at least you can write your story in the way that will please them.
okay. Okay, so yes, I mean, I know I can keep on talking to you because I know I'm gonna definitely connect with you afterwards because I want to be able to ask questions. We'll be here all night if I keep asking my questions.
Yes.
So, if there are people in the audience, and by the way, anyone who has questions, comments, words of encouragement, please feel free to enter them into the chat if you're watching us live or watching the replay. So, there may be folks out in our audience.
Mhm.
Wanting again to write a book. So, what would be their first step? Okay, so you gave us a sneak peek behind the scenes, but what would you say would be the first step?
Yeah, so if they have a topic that they want to write about, I would suggest the very first step to do is to do research on that topic, and then think about the target audience. Like example will be like, do you want your book for middle grade, which is for um, elementary students and middle school students, or do you want it to be young adult? Do you want it to be adult?
Mm,
And you have to think about your audience, and then also the genre that you will like your book to be.
Okay.
Genre would be like it can be historical fiction, fantasy, um, yeah, a lot of like mystery. There are a lot of genres out there,
Yes.
and for me, right away, I love historical fiction, and
Okay.
right away, I know that I wanted to write my book um, as a historical fiction book because I I learned that I read books, historical fiction books, and they really engage, and so I want my book to be engaging for my readers. So
Yes.
I that's why it got me into historical instead of like nonfiction.
Nonfiction. Okay. So I think I know what his
Historical fiction,
historic fiction means,
yes,
but can you help me to understand so
yes.
I know what that really means? So,
Sure. So historical fiction is you write a fiction book that it's in the past about history, and it
okay.
takes time, maybe in the 50s and 60s or 70s. But yeah, it's fiction, and it can be realistic fiction. So for my book, it's a realistic fiction because it is based on true events that
Yes.
actually happened to my family and my husband's family. So it's a realistic historical fiction book. But it's
Okay.
fiction because the character, I created that character.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So yes. So now we're in your world, and so it's this space. I really like that. So it's true events, things that has happened, and so now I know, and then you can create the story around
Yes.
the
Yeah.
real. Okay. All righty. So in writing, did you get any support when you started writing your book, informal or formal?
Yes. Because, like I said, I came to America when I was a teenager, and learning English and learning like content area for the first time in my life was very difficult. And so, without supporters, I would not have been where I am today. With my teachers, my mentor, my family, and my friends, I was able to write my first draft, and I had my brother and my school librarian read my very first draft of my book. And even
Wow.
though I was a bad writer and struggling writer, they gave me encouragement. And because of that encouragement, I kept writing no matter how hard it was for me with the
Yes.
language barrier.
That's amazing. And it is that space of having the right people around you. Like you said,
Yes,
in your mind, what you were like, it's not perfect and I'm not here, but to have
yes.
someone who will encourage you to keep pushing. And so now that the book is finished and is published, what does support look like today for you being in the marketplace?
As a new author, it's very difficult to get the book out to readers, but I have a lot of support, especially the ECO, and my mentor, and also a lot of people supported me, and I appreciated that. But I still need more support to get my book to more readers.
Yes.
Because again, as a new author and you're not well known, people don't know about your book, and they're not willing to, like to read and buy it. So right now, I the marketing is not going well,
Okay.
but I have hope that that it will get better as people learn more about this book, and yeah,
Yeah, and I think that is like having the connections and the exposure to
yes,
really get out there. And I think that it's a challenge in when you're talking with business owners of color and people of color getting things out. Like you said, it's that marketing piece, but being connected and then just sharing, sharing the book, sharing their experiences in reading it can definitely help. So, okay, all righty. So, talk to us a little bit about lessons learned. Okay,
Lessons
because I mean,
learned.
lessons learned. Like, can you share
Yes.
any lessons learned while in this process?
Yes. Again, for me, writing was very difficult, and it took me a long time to write my book. But um, if I have known what I know now before, I think it will have helped me to um, get my book published maybe earlier, I think. So I would suggest that, for any aspiring authors, writers out there who would like to write, I would suggest to do like research on the publishing trends, and also to follow. Nowadays we have social media where you can follow agents, editors, and learn from them and understand what they expect in a manuscript, so that you can write it quick, or at least you don't have to do a lot of revisions like me, because I didn't know a lot about writing, and I didn't follow agents and editors. So I have to revise my book many, many times in order to meet their expectations. And so that's what I would suggest to people to do that. And also, I would like any aspiring authors to attend conferences, and
Mhm.
also to go to workshops, because it is very important to get updated information on writing. And of course, different agents expect different things, but if you can keep learning and understand what it's out there, I guess you'll get your book to agents faster than people who don't know anything. um yeah, so
Okay.
just
All right. So you're saying we basically like we have to engulf ourselves, like have some ear to the ground on what's
yes.
happening in this world. And so it's so amazing because, like you said, so where we are today with social media and
Mhm.
being able to follow people,
Yes.
you can get a lot of information, a lot of nuggets. And so, Sia, I think that is very powerful. So you can save yourself the headache of having to revise when you
Yes.
have doing this. And so, Sia, we do have a question.
Okay.
Kimyata is asking, hey, Kimyata. Kimyata is asking, how did you go about getting an agent?
Yeah. So when I first started sending my manuscript to agents, my niece, who is also an author, she gave me a list of agents that she sent her uh, manuscripts too. And so I was able to get that list very quickly from her. But if you don't know where to get an agent, you can just Google search for literary agents, and you will get like a lot of them. And you can search for which agent will take the the kind of manuscript that you have. For me, I when I look for an agent, I looked at their their wish list to see what they want, and people
Hmm.
will list like, oh, I'm looking for historical fiction or young adult or middle grade. And then if you find a match, then you can they will have their like email information, detail information on how to send your letter to them. And you should just Google search.
Okay. And so Kimyata is just as excited as I am with questions. And so she also wants to ask, what are your thoughts on getting an agent versus self-publishing? You talked about that a little bit earlier, but just your thoughts on, either or here, the agent?
Yeah. Well, if you want to get published your book, traditionally, I think getting an agent is the best way. However, like I said earlier, it's gonna take time if you want an agent. Yes, just today, this morning, I read an article about this author, and she sent She sent 60 um, letters to agents, and she got a lot of rejections. And she said that she's gonna take some time off because of mental health and just emotional. She was stressful from rejections. So if you are willing to, accept rejections and willing to take some times, then I would say getting an agent is great, because once you get an agent and you get published traditionally by a big publisher, your chance of, you might have a better chance of selling your book. You don't get rich being an author, but if you get published by a big publisher, you probably sell more books than if you self-publish. However, a lot of people also self-publish, and it's what you choose, what you prefer. I have friends who actually do self-publishing, and there are some are successful, some are not. So it's a choice.
Okay, so it's that choice. And so you brought up something, thank you, Kimyata, for your questions. You brought up something that's powerful in the space of doing things traditionally and having to deal with rejection. And
Yes.
even like you said, more so on getting that agent, but even just in general, when you are wanting to get things, your book out or, connecting with people, rejection is a powerful, like it can hit hard. And
Yes.
so having those systems in place. And so, like you said, with your friend, taking that time to step back
Mm-hmm.
because those hits can hit hard. And so, got to keep your health, your mental health good, no matter which
Yes.
journey you choose.
Yeah. I had over 200 rejections, and they hurt.
Whew.
But yes, but I was willing to, because I wanted my book to be good quality when it get out there. And so I continue to write and continue to revise and continue to send letters to agents. And yes.
I'm so glad you shared that nugget with us because that's golden. That part of I took it, but you were focused on your goal, right? It's
Yes.
like I
Yes.
wanted it to look right. I wanted it to do this, so I know that rejection's gonna come, but never losing sight of the end goal,
Yes.
but having
That's
to take
right.
care of
You're
yourself as
so good
well.
at summarizing. I'm sorry. When I get nervous, um I I start. I can't say my words correctly. So it's a very good summary.
Well, thank you for the summary, but it is, what you're saying is powerful and it's clear. We hear you because I think that people have to um like really look at that and be ready for that
Hmm.
because if you go in and you're not even thinking and somebody say no, like the first no, you probably like, okay, whatever with you, second no, all right, a little bit hurting. But then you said in your space, as Kim said, in 200 rejections, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so she also is asking her question in the 200 rejections, did you resend to some or were they all new companies?
There are new companies. There are many agents out there. So once you get rejection from one agent, you don't send to that one again. You send to a new one.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So what is something that you are proud of in your authorship journey? Something that you're like, yes, I'm super proud of this.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get this book to published, and so I am just proud to be an author, to be called an author, and to get my book out there to share with the world who would like to learn more about Hmong people. And again, my goal was to engage and to help students learn about why Hmong people came to America. And the only way for me in my thinking was to write historical fiction to engage them so that they can, when they are immersed in the character's world, they will feel like the pain and understand what life was like back then during that time period. And so my hope was to get that out there, and I'm very proud that it's out there for anyone who would like to learn more about Hmong people.
Yes, and so author here. So Sia, when it comes to the illiterate daughter, what's on the horizon? What should we be on the lookout for? See, I'm like looking out. What should I be looking out for, Sia?
Yes, like I said earlier, this book is the first one of a series, and the second book, it's called The Dreamer's Dream, it's about this girl's life in America, coming to America, adjusting to this new culture, going to school, and it's just a new life. So looking forward to that, and I hope that people will support me with the second book, and that's what I have. And I also plan to write more books in the future. I just don't know when I will be ready, but my second book, it should be out already, but because my editor has been sick, that's why the book is delayed.
Okay. So with that, and so as we are looking at what's on the horizon, Kenyatta asks another great question. Is it or do you have any plans on having it translated in Hmong or any other language?
This book is translated into Spanish. It's out there already.
Wow.
But I'm not sure about Hmong because it seems like there are not a lot of Hmong people in America. So I don't know if it's worth it translating into Hmong. Yeah. But I think it should be, but I'm not sure if the publisher is willing to do that.
Okay. There may be something there. So as in this series here, do you just want to drop a little bit on us of where you see yourself, your book in about 5 years, giving us a look out into the future here?
Oh yeah, I have dreams, but I don't know if it will happen. I wanted to get the 2 books or this series to many readers as much as I can. But again, it's just my dream that I hope that more people will read, and then it will get to maybe will get translated into other languages. Yeah. That's just my dream, but I don't know. We'll see.
Love it.
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely. And we have our dreams, and so we're going to say that your dream will be your reality. So
hopefully,
yes, it will be. It will
be.
Thank
you. Thank you for the encouragement.
Yes, and you'll know and look back and be like, it was on the EoC Spotlight. I had said my dream, and now I see my dream. And then also, Kenyatta is saying your dreams will come true as well.
Ooh, so thank you so
you are
much.
getting love, Sia.
I hope it will come true.
It will come true.
Thank you.
With that, of course, is there any thing else that you would like to add to your fellow authors, inspiring writers, entrepreneurs, supporters? Any closing words or any advice that you want to close us out with?
Sure. So I would say if you have dreams and goals, pursue them. There are people out there who will help you. Like I've got supporters, and I have teachers and mentors and friends that helped me to be where I am today. So, just a matter of looking for support. So I would very encourage people to pursue their dreams, and also for aspiring authors, writers. I would say, try to write daily if you can. Read as much as you
Good.
can. Also, to learn the rules. If you can, learn about creative writing. It's very important. If I have known about creative writing, I will have, take, a class. And, I always blame myself for not doing all that. That's why it took me so long to finish my book. But as I think about it, well,
Hmm.
I was not the only author who took a long time to finish a book or to publish a book. And so I stopped blaming myself for, not taking creative writing classes, and also not, like following editors and authors and agents before. But I would say, if you are thinking about writing, I would suggest that thinking about, writing, trying to write every day. And again, keep a journal will be awesome.
Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so, Sia, if people want to know more about you, know about the authorship journey, what is the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, if they can go into my website and contact me from there, I will respond to them and give them advice. I'm not really good at talking. Yeah, so I'm good at standing in front of children, but
Mhm.
I'm not really good at talking, especially like camera like this and
You
speaking in
have done
public.
a great
And I am
job.
learning though.
You
You know,
have done a beautiful job, Sia.
I
Like,
hope that with practice and more talking and presentations, maybe I will do better. But again, because of language barrier and my accent, I feel like, I'm not doing a very good job. But because I don't know.
you have done spectacular. So, and we thank you and truly appreciate you for sharing your journey with us, sharing these valuable nuggets to give us as if people want to explore the space. And just thank you for your time. And of course, everyone, of course, the best way to get a hold of her is at the website, and that you see it on the screen, siagonzava.com, and you'll be able to get connected. And so we truly, again, appreciate. We got another shout out. Kim Yada says, Sia rocks.
Oh, thank you so much.
And so we truly appreciate you and thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, yes, yes. So thank you again so much, Sia, for being a part of the spotlight. And so, everyone, we have had a great, great time. And before we go, I just want to make sure that we shout out that if you know any entrepreneurs of color, or if you are yourself an entrepreneur of color that would like to be featured on our EoC Spotlight, you can email us, and we have two emails that's available, and that is going to be yvue@apl.org, or you can also reach out to us at ColorBold Business Association at gmail.com. And again, also, if you want to stay connected to us, you can definitely follow us on Facebook or subscribe to us on YouTube, and that is at the EoC Spotlight. And again, we thank and appreciate each and every one of you for joining us, and as well as we appreciate our sponsors that help us to do what we are doing, and that is the Hmong Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Wisconsin United Coalition of Mutual Assistance Association. Again, thank you all for joining us for our EoC Spotlight, and we will see you next time.